Hi everyone, Russ Thomas here from RST Coaching Academy. Welcome to a new episode of Money Talks, where we talk about money and how to make more of it. All right. Hey, everybody there on Money Talks. Welcome here, RST Coaching Academy, another episode of Money Talks you, from us to you in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's going to be a hot day down here again, but it's starting to cool off a little bit finally. Not like up in the North Country, but we'll survive. So I'm privileged to introduce to you a friend of mine in the business world. Her name is Unika, and she comes from Maryland in a company in the house cleaning business that she's acquired a couple years ago. And she's not satisfied with just that. She's got bigger dreams than just that business. And so I'm going to let her talk to you about her background, where she comes from, what she's been doing, what she's doing now, where she wants to go, and so on and so forth. So, Unika, take it away. Welcome. Tell us about Unika Greene. We're excited to hear about your story and all that you've done, all that you're doing, and all where you're going. All right? Welcome.
All right. Thank you. Good morning. Pleasure to be here. I'm always excited to have an opportunity to share on a podcast like yours, like Money Talks. So that's a lot. But my background, I'm a serial entrepreneur and a real estate investor and a business coach with Grant Cardone. And how I make it all work. Well, if we go back to the history of things, in my early 20s, I stumbled through a 9 to 5. I worked a 9 to 5 like everyone else. And the 9 to 5 that I worked was for a bank. And I had the pleasure of going out to take care of the lenders at the bank because nobody else wanted to, because the lenders were so demanding. So I drive around, I take care of the lenders. Well, while I was fixing things in the branch, I found out about investment loans. And I started to become friends with the lenders, and they would tell me about the different kind of loans and things that they were doing, and it sounded really interesting to me. So I learned about 203K loans, construction loans, and I just put it in the back of my mind. Didn't use that information, just kept working, got invited out to some real estate investment groups, sat, learned, and at some point I decided, why not give it a try? So there was a lady, was in a hair salon. She's doing my hair, and she's telling me about her great aunt that passed away and this property that the family doesn't want. They don't know what to do with it. And the light bulb goes off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, how much do you want for it? And she's like $40,000. So, yeah, this is way back when you could buy a house for $40,000. So,
Couple of years ago.
yeah, a
for
couple
sure.
years ago.
Yeah.
So anyway, to speed up the process, I called the lender and I'm like, hey, I was talking to my hairstylist, and she said they have this awesome deal, and I know what you guys do. Would this work? So they ran the numbers, and they're like, yeah, it looks good. We can give you, now this is back then, 100%. We'll give you the money to buy the house, the money to fix it up, and then convert it into a 30-year fixed at, like, I don't know, 5 or 6%, whatever the rates was back then. So I was like, cool, sounds great. And then after I did that renovation, I learned something even better. I went to another banker, and they said, hey, you ever thought about pulling the equity out of that? I'm like, what? You can do that? Yeah, sure. So I pulled the equity out of it and went and bought another one. Did the
Another
same,
house.
yeah,
Okay.
did the same process, pulled the equity out of it. And now I'm like, man, I'm on to something. So now I have rents coming in and, this whole equity, just pull the equity out and keep rolling. And that's essentially what started in real estate. So a couple of years ago, fast forward, I started thinking to myself, I bet businesses are really good in terms of investing. And I knew there's a lot of baby boomers. They're going out of the market right now. And they've built up small businesses. And these small businesses they're good, mom and pop shops. They've been around in the community for a long time. And
Any particular industry or anything?
service-based. I was looking
Pardon?
at service-based, and I like the cleaning business because it was simple. The concept, everyone can understand what we do. We clean houses, we clean businesses, we clean. So I like the simplicity of the model. And I like the fact that the expenses were minimal. You're paying your labor and, a few other things, but, the return on investment is high. At this point, like some businesses, 30 to 40%. So I thought, okay. So baby boomers were the target, retiring baby boomers that have businesses. And I found a guy, he had a business, this one, and he was running the business for 20 years. And he decided to retire and move to California.
And this was a cleaning business?
This is a cleaning business, residential and commercial cleaning.
All right.
So he moved to California, him and his wife, they retired. The business was still running here. He had everything in place, a manager to run it, and everything ran. And he'd fly in town occasionally and check on it. Everything was going great until the manager decided, you know what, I quit. So he said, well, I'm 70 something years old. We're loving life in San Diego. Not to mention, I'm not as healthy as I used to be. There's no way that I want to go back to Baltimore and run a business full time. So he decided to sell it. And I was able to scoop it up for all cash, a very minimal investment, and use that business. And then here's the beauty of it. Then I ran into Grant Cardone and his team, which was a perfect fit for me between what I was doing in real estate, plus this new strategy that I had gotten hold of. So Grant's team talks about scaling businesses, making money 10x. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with the 10x concept.
Oh, yeah.
So I said to myself, man, this 10x thing, now I know I'm onto something. I have this business that's, a baby business in terms of revenue, but I could 10x it. So I fly down to Miami, I join and become a Grant Cardone licensee. I fly down to Miami to Cardone Capital, and I get the office tour. We do the licensee mastermind, and I meet some fantastic people. One of which is a guy who's a business coach for cleaning businesses. You guessed it. So he coaches cleaning businesses, and he personally bought a cleaning business for like $30,000, 10x'd it to $3 million and sold it.
Wow.
And he teaches other cleaning businesses owners how to do it. Well, during a very short lunch, we talked, and within 15 minutes, I had so much information that I was able to take that information and run with it. So using Grant's team, using all of the concepts that they teach for sales, business scaling, and I'm not even using, I don't know, I'm maybe using 10%. I mean, that team is just, it's so much information to absorb in what you do. So, one of the things that I want to do now, I'm moving into coaching with Grant's team to help other business owners. We have to give back. So I would say within 6 months of joining as a licensee, I was able to do the training and grow my business to 5 times the revenue that it was making.
Now,
And
this was the cleaning business or
yes,
at the real estate or
yeah.
both
So
in
yeah, so I'll give you the
combination?
timeline. So I bought the cleaning business in May of 21, and I ran into Grant's team in November of 21. And I went
Okay.
down to Miami. That was in November. So that was June, July, August, September, no, 5 months later. So from that time, I came back, digested everything, took some more training, and I started to take action in February of 2022.
Okay.
And by the end of 2022, the business was just booming in comparison to what it was doing.
The cleaning business.
The cleaning business, Maryland Cleaning Service.
And
Yeah.
how did you, what specific things did you implement that fostered that tremendous growth?
Well, one of the things that Grant talks about is, stay broke. Invest in your business. Marketing is senior to sales. It's something that we're taught. So for me as a business owner, what that means, at the time when I went down there, I was just stacking cash. So, I'd make money, put it in the bank, make money, put it in the bank, and the bank account is growing. And I'm thinking, man, this is great. Until I hear Grant say, no, 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 that's not what you want to do.
Yeah.
You want to take all of your money and put it back into your business, and market, whatever that looks like, and market your business and grow it. So I started to do that. That was step number one.
How did you then implement the marketing strategy for the cleaning business specifically?
So Grant's team helped me to write a script, which I'm able to use for my clients that call in. I'm able to generate a list of businesses, call them, see if they need service, advertise online. I found out a large portion of this market is online. So do some tweaks to my website, advertise online, and from there, I'm able to generate leads coming into the business. That was step one. So now the phones are ringing, right? So I'm listening to more Grant's training, and he says, this is I don't remember. I think it was like a business summit.
Uh-huh.
A business summit. It's I can't remember. But anyway.
The boot camp or something
Yeah,
like
boot
that?
camp. It was like a 10X boot camp.
Right.
For business. And he says, who's answering the phones? And he calls somebody's businesses, and I think the guy's phone rang in his pocket. And he says, what a dumb idea. You don't have any money. Like you're so cheap. Like that's not saving you money. Your people make you money. They don't, cost you. So then I said, let's implement that. And that was step two. Next, I started listening to how do you close leads, right? So you got the phone ringing, people are calling, they have objections. Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, let me think about it. I'm not sure. I already have a cleaning service. All of these objections that you hear. Well, how do you overcome those objections? Well, they offer a daily call. If you join Cardone University, they offer a daily call where you log in and you can actually role play daily. So that's something else that we learned. Don't practice on the customers. Role play before you get to the customer so that you're confident in all of your objections. So hold on. Bye. So I was able to start implementing that and closing a higher percentage of the leads that were starting to come into the business.
So you learn how to close based on the training that you received. Okay. How about the answering? There was an issue there you'd said about, who's answering the phone. So did you hire people then to answer the phone, or how did you handle that?
I do. I have someone here that works with me. She helps me to answer the phone. She's great. It's just, and I'm growing, The last training I listened to, we're talking about hiring. And now it's time to hire and expand, and and there's no limitation. There's no limitation. So there's a wealth creation formula, and I'll only give you a tidbit of it. But step one, you have to create income, right?
Right.
Once you start creating income, then you can store that income and reinvest that income. So, it's that's the process. It's a very simple formula for me.
And
And
it's
then
interesting because before you were just stacking it for yourself
yeah,
for a rainy day or whatever the case may be, but you learned, no, don't let it sit in the bank and give way to inflation. You're earning
and
less
taxes.
interest than the inflation rate. So you learn to take that money, maybe you save up X number of dollars and then put it into something that's going to generate you more income, correct?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And specifically that thing for me is marketing.
Uh-huh.
The more you put into marketing, the more leads you get, the more it comes back. And I feel like you can't do anything wrong when it comes to marketing. If you have an idea, just jump out there and do it. You know, I want to stand outside with a sign and say, hey, you need cleaning service? Come
I'm
on
here.
over
This is what
here.
I do. Yeah. Yeah. And we know from the training that we've been through is that money follows attention. It starts with the attention, and that's the part of marketing. It's interesting that people think that sales is so
Yeah,
important and it's
yeah,
called sales and marketing, but really it should be marketing and sales as a
yeah,
phrase because the marketing has to come first. And the better, we know that the better the marketing process, the easier the sales process. And then when that's coupled with what we've learned in the closing arena, then there we go.
oh yeah. So, my greatest problem now as an entrepreneur is I don't have enough time for all of the abundance that I see around me. Grant's team often says, "Who has my money?"
Yeah.
And abundance is all around. You can look outside of your window and count the cars and the houses and just so there's no limitations, no shortage of opportunities, no shortage of wealth. It's just
It,
a matter of, being able to implement it all.
right now. So the business in the office, is it just you and this lady that answers the phone?
Yes, for
You
now.
haven't,
You
are
know,
you thinking about taking on a manager to do some of this other stuff to free you up from some of these maybe managerial type processes?
right now I'm in the process of acquiring a second cleaning business. And I hope to close on that very soon. I just nailed down we talked in our group about
Heard
an
about that?
investor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I talked to the investor. We have lunch set up for next week. I've got him nailed down. I offer investment opportunities to investors that want to invest in the progress, from a company that starts one place and then gets 10x and they can come in with all of that upside gain. So I'm so excited about that.
Oh,
Yeah, so hopefully we'll close on that soon. And with that comes more employees and extended operation. And yes, we will be moving offices, we'll be hiring more people and, just kind of growing up.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
And how is your real estate investment going?
So it's interesting. After listening to Grant on the real estate side of things, I realized that I was investing completely the wrong way. And And I made a decision to sell. I had a portfolio of 22 rental properties, doing mostly a lot of rehab work. And I made a decision to sell the entire portfolio and start all over again with a different type of portfolio um, than the one that I previously had.
Huh.
So, yeah. So right now they're all sold and I have a new lender I'm working with, some new opportunities. So right now I'm looking to close something end of the year for on the real estate side.
Okay. Are you doing anything with Cardone Capital?
I hope to do something with Cardone
Okay.
Capital soon.
Right now you're doing your own, you're doing your own investing
Well, right
uh
now I'm still at
process.
step one, creating income.
Uh-huh.
So,
Okay.
Cardone Capital is a little further in the process where you have to store have a little something, and then you
Yeah.
want it to return an investment to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I know they start with a minimum of $5,000. So it's not
Mhm.
like a person has to have $100,000 to get started with them. Obviously, the more the merrier.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. I thought it was 100. Well, maybe it's not 100. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's 5,000 unless they've changed it, but this was even as current as a couple months ago. I talked to one of the fellas there by the name of Ben, and Jody hooked me up with him. And
I love what they're doing at Cardone Capital,
that's awesome. I
Yeah,
love what they're doing with everything. We're in the right place at the right time.
we are in the right place at the right
We,
time, most definitely.
yeah, yeah. You know, there's the saying that success occurs when preparedness and opportunity meet. And a lot of people may run across an opportunity, but they're not prepared. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to get into what it is that the opportunity that they see. And that's where
Mhm.
we come along, is to help guide them into that success in that new opportunity. Or maybe they're just not, they don't know nothing. They don't have any opportunities. And we can help with those things too through our business, Cardone University, and our coaching services. Am I right?
No,
True?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Cardone University is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that I do have on my agenda is to begin hiring a sales team.
Mm.
Um, and if you have a sales team and your business, Cardone University is a great investment. And to your company and to your people, we talk about reinvesting in ourselves, and you want to reinvest into your business and training your people.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they have the two programs, one for individuals and one for company,
Yeah.
so it's all covered. So,
Yeah.
and have you been talking here now that you're branching out, you want to acquire another cleaning business, and what, maybe another one and another one? Do you see yourself capping at X number of these businesses, or what do you think?
Again, being around the Cardone team, I mean, there is no limit. Life doesn't have limits.
It's only
And
in our minds, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
so you know, I don't look at life in terms of, another and another and another. You know, I don't know, maybe we can systemize it and figure out a way to allow people to buy into it and franchise it. So, if you wanted to invest in, a cleaning service, we have all of the tools and the systems, and we can get you up and running in Daytona, or get someone else up and running in San Diego, or, and just kind of grow that way.
It doesn't have to be limited to just Baltimore for yourself, then, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
How did you pick the cleaning industry? My wife did house cleaning many years ago. It was hard on her knees. She was younger then, but it was still hard on her knees.
Hmm.
Um, and it was lucrative. It really was. But she wasn't part of a company per se. It was just one woman that had a few houses to clean, and she needed some help. How did you settle into that? I think you thought, well, this is an easy thing to do and it's good return. Is that kind of the process you went through?
Well, it's funny because that's one of my objections that I get. Because my one of my competition is just, people who are just out cleaning. And I always tell them that, well, that's great, until your cleaner gets pregnant, or they have to move out of town, or, something happens, and then you don't have a cleaner anymore. So for me, I don't clean. For me, it's about owning a business, putting together the systems, to be able to
Manage.
help people to grow. You
Yeah.
know, a big thing for me is I want my team to grow. I want them to be able to make good money, feel good about what they're doing, and everyone around me to have an opportunity for growth.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, and like I said, it's a service that you understand, I understand, everybody understands the concept. So if I have a 30-second elevator pitch, what do you do? And I say, we clean residential homes and commercial businesses. It's simple.
Uh-huh.
I can understand that. It's not like, wait, so what do you do again? I don't understand. So
I clean houses and businesses. I mean, that is pretty straightforward.
it's straightforward. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
So
When you said about losing a cleaning person, pregnant or whatever, are the majority of people that are calling you now typically they just have one individual and it's not part of a company like yours. It's just one individual, maybe the next door neighbor, maybe the
yeah,
sister-in-law, something like
yeah,
that.
I get it a lot. And usually they're calling me because the cleaner got pregnant, the cleaner moved, they don't know what happened to the cleaner.
Uh-huh.
Um, so, and and they need that consistency. So, and that's
So,
what we provide. We provide
right.
consistency.
So because of your team of
Exactly.
cleaners,
I
you've
couldn't do
always
it.
got somebody that can go and do that
I
that
couldn't
job.
I
All
couldn't
right.
do it without my team. That's
Yeah.
why I invest in my team
Yeah.
so that they
How
can
large
go.
is your team? How many people do you have?
Right now I have 6 cleaners.
Six. Okay.
Yeah.
And they're doing both the residential and the commercial.
No, actually, wait a minute. I just took on a contract. I have 10 cleaners.
10. All right.
Yeah, yeah. I just closed the deal, which is kind of like a mini acquiring. They had 5 employees that came along with the business, 4
Hmm.
transferred over. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's just a part of growing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that just happened 2 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
majorly excited about that too.
Oh, I bet so. So the commercial does a lot of that have to be done after hours? Is that a
So
scheduling issue?
no, I have people that take care of that. Some
Uh-huh.
of it, it's after hours around business. Not
Okay.
every business, but a lot of them.
Uh-huh.
They want you
Yeah.
to come in at night and empty the trash and mop the floors and sweep up, clean the bathrooms. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have a friend here in Daytona Beach that she's part of the Chamber of Commerce luncheon that I attend every Wednesday, and she's the vice president of a commercial cleaning company here in Daytona. And she said that one of the things they do is they do emergency rooms in hospitals. And now that must be a challenging thing to get those places spick and span and germ free. Wouldn't you agree? Wow.
Absolutely. We do medical offices, doctor's offices. We had a client that was a plastic surgeon's office,
Mm.
and they did a lot of plastic surgery. So we got a little bit of a taste because going in and cleaning up a operating room after the surgery was something.
Quite a mess, perhaps, huh?
Yeah, and you have to have crews that can deal with that because
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean you're dealing with a lot of things. You walk in there, you may see. I mean, I'm not going to go into what you may see, but you can imagine
Blood and guts.
blood and guts.
Yeah, what a mess. Oh,
So,
wow.
it takes a different kind of person to be able to,
Yeah,
yeah, get that all
that's
cleaned
really
up and
neat.
sanitized.
Um, Another thing with the state of the economy, interest is high, inflation is crazy, and so on. Are you running across people, maybe current clients that are saying, "Oh man, I can't afford this anymore"? Has that been any kind of an issue for your business so
No,
far?
no. And
Good.
I'll tell you why. There's different sectors of the business that can run in any economy. It's recession-proof, meaning when the pandemic came and the pandemic hit, businesses were calling through the roof because they needed sanitation cleans. They wanted them more than ever. Oh my God, someone got sick with COVID. We need you to come in here and sanitize the whole office, get everything
Ah,
cleaned. And
mm-hmm.
so our business for those type of cleanings went up. And
Hmm.
we loved it. I mean, it's relatively simple, but germs was just a big, big, big deal. Um, and we were able to make money off of that. On the flip side, you have most people that are calling a cleaning service, they're not in a position where they run out of money to pay the cleaning service. A lot of our clients are affluent clients. They do well in what they do. They have big homes and they value their time. So they're
Uh-huh.
not going to save $100 to clean their own house. They're not
Okay.
going to do that.
All right. So
Yeah.
you're kind of on maybe a higher um, economic scale as a client that you're looking for.
Well, it's funny because when I went to Miami, one of the things that um, was said, raise your prices.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the time, we're charging what we were charging. And I thought, hmm. So I came back and I said, I'm going to pick a number that I believe nobody would pay. And I'll put it out there. And guess what? My
People.
clientele changed. And we're actually happier. The cleaners are happier. They're able to make more. They're able to go home earlier. So again, it works. These strategies, I mean, they work.
You don't know if you don't ask, right?
You don't know if you don't, and it makes me wonder how much money did I miss out on trying to be the cheapest, cleaning service
Yeah.
in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those clients were a real pain, by the way. The cheap ones are a real pain.
So the ones that fell off was no loss. Good riddance.
It was good riddance because
Yeah.
they were just very,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Well, this is so interesting. This business is that I imagine a normal person isn't going to see that as that much of a glamorous type enterprise.
mhm.
You know, blue collar workers and so on and so forth. And yet, you've proven that it can become a major source of business and income for you to actually finance other investments that you want to get into. I mean, that is really neat. You open my eyes to this whole prospect of cleaning business. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to look around myself.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
what is your mix? I don't know if I could say clients, residential clients versus commercial clients, or revenue from one to another. What is your mix as far as where the business is coming from, commercial or residential?
So now there's two sides to this. There residential, for me, I'm about 60-40 residential, commercial. Residential is great because it's very quick on cash flow. You go out, you provide a service, you get paid for service, you provide it, and
Uh-huh.
you can do that 50 times a day, right?
Uh-huh.
On the business side, it's great because you have the stability. So, and what you're saying, if your residential clients, if they fall off for whatever reason or they can't do it, you have contracts on the other side. So you're going to be, I mean, unless you screw up, you're going to be with them for years and years and years. And it's very consistent, stable income that you can
Mm,
count on. But you have to invoice them, which means that you have to wait, your 30 days or whatever to get paid
okay.
versus the residential side where you clean 10 houses a day. If they're all $100 a clean, you just got $1,000 in cash and you close your day. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So
Wow. But there's no contract then on the residential side.
you can do a contract. My lawyer says I should do contracts. I don't. Again, my goal is to keep it simple.
Uh,
So, I could do that. But at the end of the day, I don't believe in handcuffing someone to a service that they don't want or need or whatever the case may
uh-huh.
be. So if you call me up and you say, you know what, it's been great, but this is the end of the road. I don't want the service anymore for whatever reason. Of course, I'm going to try to do my best to make sure it's,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Sure.
but yeah, I'm not going to say, well, Russ, you signed a contract. And whether you want this cleaning service or not,
You're locked in, baby.
you're
Yeah.
going to pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either we can clean or not, but you're going to pay.
Uh-huh. Now, on the commercial side, though,
Different.
couldn't the same conversation take place on the commercial side where you do have a contract?
Yeah, well, the commercial side is different. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, contracts are more common. because you have to lay out what you're going to do and what you're going to charge and what's going to be extra and,
Uh,
all of that kind of stuff. You
okay.
don't want gray areas.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
then you've got, like you mentioned a minute ago, your attorney, your lawyer probably helped you draw that baby up, and make it in no uncertain terms of, what you're doing and what's going to cost the client.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
That has to be clear,
Yeah,
complete
yeah,
clarity.
yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
And
Well, this is exciting.
another little trick I learned from Grant's team that I was not doing that I'm doing now in terms of leads. So if someone calls, first you got to get all of their information. That's step one. They get a quote. You tell them, okay, well, we can come out and clean your house. It's probably going to cost $300. And they say, okay, well, sounds great. Let me do some comparison. Let me talk to my spouse. Let me talk to whoever. And, I'll call you back next week and I'll make a decision. One of the things that they teach you is to put something in their hand to follow up immediately,
Hmm.
whether that's a text, an email, a video call. Hey, it was great talking to you today. We talked about, cleaning services. Here's the numbers. Just wanted you to have them. Here's some more information about us. Check out our website. Call us back. So you remain top of mind, right?
Right, indeed.
Yeah,
Right. And he said,
absolutely.
Grant says always to give a written proposal also. So if
Exactly.
you're following up, if you're not doing that on the telephone call when they call in, then that's an opportunity to give the written proposal, isn't it?
Yeah, it made me realize that I was losing business in the sense of someone may love it and then next week they really do want to sign up. But guess what? They've gotten maybe 5 other calls. They can't remember which one they talked to. You wouldn't believe how much business I get when people call me back because I do the follow-ups and I put it
Ah,
in their hands. They
yeah.
call me back, but they actually wanted to get service with another cleaning service, but they don't remember who they were. So they called me and we close them, and guess what? They become our customer.
Lo and
Um,
behold, and they're delighted out of their mistake, calling the
they
wrong person.
they do.
Oh,
I had one guy call me and he was so upset. He said, the cleaners aren't here. And we're looking at the schedule and we're looking at the address and we're thinking, did we miss something? And did we not do something right? So, we call our cleaning teams and we get one out to the guy right away. And he loves to clean and calls back and he says, oh my God, I'm so sorry. This is the wrong cleaning service. He said, I was expecting whoever. They
uh,
didn't show up. So we went out there. So,
so,
you
so
know,
you kind of just did it on an emergency basis and no doubt landed the account,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, they called us back because they had that follow up from us.
Uh-huh.
So, people forget once you hang up the phone, they don't remember who they talked to. They really don't.
Isn't
So,
that funny?
yeah,
Well, they just stay in the forefront of their minds. That's another great tip for a person building a business, a person in the sales environment. So um, let me get to the end here and just ask you to offer maybe some specific tips, advice specifically. Somebody is listening to this podcast, somebody is watching on Roku channel or Amazon Fire, and they like what they're hearing, and maybe they're thinking about going into some kind of a business. Doesn't have to be cleaning business, but what kind of advice would you give someone who is, say, just starting out as an entrepreneur, or is maybe one now, has a business and is struggling? Words of advice.
my words of advice would be take action. Take action. A lot of times, a lot of entrepreneurs spend a lot of time in their head planning, thinking, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Just do it. Like the old Nike slogan, just do it. And my other word of advice would be if you can, find a good coach. Find a good coach, find someone who's been where you're trying to go and can help you get there.
Awesome. a lot of people, and I come from a computer programming background. So I've got, analytical thinking process. And that's an easy thing to get caught up in, is the analytical side of things instead of just getting started, right? And
It's
just
funny. So do I, Russ. We have that in common. That was
yeah,
my 9 to
wow.
5.
Yeah, cool. And
Yeah.
it's so, got to have all the ducks in a row before we start shooting a duck. We got to get them in a row first. And Grant says, get going, you'll figure it out as you go. I mean, that can be a scary thing for us analytical weirdos, but it's good advice just to hit the road and make changes. And there's so many opportunities out there that you're not going to shoot yourself in the foot for very long, because you'll figure things out. Especially your number 2 suggestion, Unika, was to have a coach, to have somebody that's guiding you along the way.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool deal.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, there's 2 things. So take action, folks, and find a good coach. Well, guess what I do? Guess what Unika does? We do coaching. People want to contact you, Unika? Give us your phone number.
They can contact me, Russ, at 410-444-8880.
All right. Say that again.
410-444-8880.
All right, folks. If you missed that, rewind and pick it up again if you want to chat with Unika. And a website people could land on for you?
www.mdcleaningservice.com.
MD stands for Maryland, no doubt.
Yes.
Cleaningservices.com. There you go.
You
All right. Anything else finally you want to wrap up and
that's it
leave us with?
No, that's it for me. I just, just really appreciate being here and talking with you today.
Yeah. What is your educational background?
Computers.
Computers, like me. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I started
programming or system design or what?
Networking.
Networking.
But system administration. And here's the funny thing. I only went to college for that because I was told that I should. I wanted to take an entrepreneurship program or no college at all. But my parents said, you're going to go to school, pick something that you can get a job, get benefits, and make money.
Yeah, right. Oh, they meant well, didn't they?
They meant well, but here's the beautiful thing. My first job was at a bank, and the number 1 source of revenue for that bank was doing investment loans. And I was able to meet some people and, start.
You started out talking about that, and you were meeting with lenders. Were these third-party lenders above and beyond? Didn't the bank do their own lending?
Yeah, no,
I didn't understand that part.
We did in-house. It was a small community bank. We did in-house lending, and we had different lending departments. So we had they made a lot of money on 203K loans that they were doing with real estate investors. And I spent a lot of time talking to the lenders that were doing the 203K loans. They were all my buddies. And they explained to me how that process works. And we did, construction loans. We just did a lot of loans. So
how about that? Being in the right place at the right time.
Oh, yeah.
Preparedness, crossing with opportunity, and you went for it. And you didn't stick to what you went to school for. You said, there's something more out there, isn't there? Folks, there's something more out there for you, I bet. All you got to do is start thinking. It starts in the mind. It starts with your mindset. Probably going to have to change some things about how you're thinking about business, how you're thinking about money, how you're thinking about your very life. And as Grant Cardone says, success is your responsibility, obligation, and duty. You owe it to yourself to be successful. You owe it to your family. You owe it to your community, to your church, to your country, to the world to be successful. So you can leave a legacy for your family, for your children and your children's children, and an inheritance. Nothing wrong with a nice inheritance of financial success to leave behind. So get with it, folks. Give us a call if we can help you out. Unika, again, thanks for your time. It's been a blast. I can't wait to get this all processed and get this out for the world to see.
Thank you, Russ.
All right. And we will talk to you down the road. Folks, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time around on Money Talks. In the meantime, be great. Go for it. Go for your dreams. Give us a call if we can be of service. All right. Bye-bye. Hi, thanks for being here today for another episode of Money Talks. I hope it was informative and encouraging to you. If it struck a chord in your heart, or if you have any questions or comments, please let us know. Visit us at rstcoachingacademy.com, call 386-286-2450, or send an email to email@rstcoachingacademy. Thanks again, and until next time, be great.